Chaplain Bill Green of our Bullitt County Detention Center. He's going to lead us in a prayer and then the pledge. Brother Green, come on up. Let's stand.
This prayer is really dedicated to this type of decision. I write the book, and then my book is the decisions you make when you first the decisions you make today have eternal implications. They can affect you, your family, your friends. It's not very difficult decisions. Father, we just come to you in the name of Jesus. Lord, we turn our hearts to you. To you for help in time of need. God, we ask you to forgive us for our sins, individually and collectively. Father, we lift up our nation too. We place our leaders and those who serve to protect us, our troops, our police officers, our firefighters, emergency people, city workers and rescue workers, the unsung heroes. This assembly here tonight, Lord, we face these people and good for fraud. Father, bless them. Let your will be established through them. Guide and direct their thoughts and their actions. Lord, grant them a discerning spirit in the decisions that are made today and the directions that they take. Lord, give them peace and wisdom for the issues that they'll face and the trials that may come their way. Give your angels charge over them. Thank you, Father. We thank you for hearing our cry and for attending to our needs. And Lord, we thank you for those who've given their all to protect our freedoms. We thank you for loving us while we were yet in the world. Father, we thank you for sending your very best and sending your Son Jesus to us. Father, again, I'm reminded of the prayer that you dictated to us in your word, where you said, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you with graciousness. The Lord with his countenance like a flame to give you peace. Father, I pray that prayer in your spirit here tonight. Praise. Yes, in the mighty name of Jesus. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. How do you feel? Okay, magistrates, number 4, presentation and approval of bills. In your packet are the bills from the legislature's office. And these bills are paid by you, the taxpayers. Are there any questions?
No questions, I move to pay the bill.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashwell?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And now, Ms. Sharp will present the bills from the treasurer's office, but you, the taxpayers, pay these bills too. Ms. Sharp?
And there are bills that are dated for 2/20/2014 for your approval. Make a motion to pay the bill.
Thank you, magistrates. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashwell?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Next, we have the minutes to be approved from February the 18th. Are there any changes?
They've already been made, Judge.
Okay.
Bridget, she's already changed her.
Good, thank you, Ashley.
And I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they are.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you all. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion concerning the minutes from February the 18th? Ms. Grant, you may roll call. Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hood?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Carter? Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Mrs. Brown? Moving right along.
Thank you. I'm going to move Chief Deputy John Michael of State Deputy Report. I'm sorry that we shall give it secretary.
Chief Deputy John Marshall is going to make a report on the HIV fees collected. Good evening, Chief Deputy.
For January, it was following the bill from the court's office. For the full month of January, there was a total of 9 weekend hookups, 3 out-of-town hookups. Money was in total was $7,269 received for the month. Bill course off was $1,760. And no distribution to the Bullitt Fiscal for $499. Distribution to Bullitt County's office for $1,355. And Bullitt County Sheriff's Office fees for $48.55.
Any questions for the Chief Deputy? Thank you.
I like this.
Thank you, Chief Deputy. Now, back to our presentations on letter A. It's my honor to be able to award the Mount Washington Historical Society as well as some fine young people. And we all know the young people are our future. So with that said, I'm going to present a proclamation and some certificates to this fine group of people, and I see some smiles over there. Two of them, they were my students at Cedar Grove Elementary, so it's an honor to do this. Magistrate, you may join me if you wish. I hope you do. Let's have all the Mount Washington Historical Society folks come on up. Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to our Mount Washington Historical Society leaders.
Well, hello everybody. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. I'm Greg Gilbert, and I'm the president of Mount Washington Historical Society. I'm real proud to be able to say that because we've got a lot of really good, dedicated people in the society that care about preserving what I think is the most precious thing we have to give our children is our heritage. You know, when we have our families and our children, we always try to hand down what we think's best for them, give to them what we think's the best, and that's certainly what the Historical Society tries to do for everybody in our community. And I think I've been a little over 4 years president now, and I stepped in. We had a lot of good things going on from previous people that led, and I was fortunate to step into that wave of momentum and have a bunch of really good people. Like I say, these guys work. You might not be able to tell by looking at them, but they work pretty hard. And they really do. They're the backbone. They run it like a business. We brought an old house in Mount Washington back from the dead. Raccoons living in the house when we took over a few years ago, and they were in the process of getting all that fixed. And we read a really long bullet list of things we've accomplished. I didn't do any of them. I had my small part, but it was all these guys here, and I think we need to give all of them a big hand for it.
I'm Dale Salmon, I'm the Vice President of the Historical Society, and I just want to chime in with Greg's words on congratulating this fine group of volunteers that we have. A lot of representation here tonight, but there's many more of us involved in this effort, and we're really proud of the things we're going to accomplish in preserving our community's heritage in recent years, and looking forward to sharing all that with generations to come. Thank you all.
Would you let everybody introduce themselves from Mount Washington?
My name's Bobby Darwell.
Janice Cosine,
Judy Sally,
Dooley.
Barbara Della Dooley.
Eddie Cosine.
John Long.
And now it's my honor to present this proclamation to the Mount Washington Historical Society. And it says, whereas Mount Washington Historical Society endeavors to create and maintain a connection to our past by collecting, interpreting, and preserving our rich heritage to share with current and future generations. And whereas Mount Washington Historical Society is the co-sponsor of the Mount Washington Youth Chamber of Preservationists. And whereas Mount Washington Historical Society received historic James M. Lloyd House Museum as a donation in 1989 and continues its quest to rehabilitate the home to serve as a meeting place, research center, and a museum dedicated to preserving and sharing the legacy of those who have carved a place in the history of Mount Washington. And whereas Mount Washington Historical Society republished their collectible book, Memories of the 1940s, of which over 300 copies have sold in 4 months. And whereas Mount Washington Historical Society celebrated their 30th anniversary in November of 2013. Now therefore, I, Melanie J. Roberts, Judge Executive of Bullitt County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, do hereby proclaim this day, March the 4th, 2014, as Mount Washington Historical Society Day. And I encourage everyone to thank these fine folks, and let's keep on celebrating our historical heritage. Anything else you'd like to say? You're welcome to the session.
He said he would rather you declare it the last day of winter than
Well, fortunately, I don't have that power, because that's a mighty power, and that's, I'll leave that for God to do. Charlie, would you like to say anything? Would any of you all want to say more than just introducing yourself? Keep up the great work. Thank you all
Thank you so much.
And we're going to bring up the youth
One
next.
thing which doesn't have any to do with historical society, I just want to let you all know, as far as I'm concerned, out of 120 counties, we have the best road department in the Commonwealth.
And we, just before we be sure and let the road department know that you said that. They thank you. They work very hard.
Well, we thank you too, young man.
Oh, you're very welcome.
We're a pleasure to be here.
Well, we are so honored to have you. Now, who's going to stay while the young folks come up? Awesome. Oh, you all can. Well, let's bring up the young folks. Come on up here. Let's put you all right here. Having young people present or involved in anything is so important to me, and I feel like I can speak for everyone here. It's so important to everyone. It's very, very important to our community. It is my honor and my pleasure to introduce to you. I will let you all introduce yourselves, and then I'm going to give you a certificate, but I want you to talk first instead of me. So take it away.
We're the Youth Chamber of Preservationists. Sheldon Crum. Abigail Shelton.
Isaac Shelton.
Haley Steinmetz.
Who wants to tell what cops years. It's not law enforcement.
Well, this stands for Chamber of Preservationists, not police.
We work with the Historical Society to preserve our city's history. We have worked in the Lloyd House, preserving it. We actually were just there a few months ago cleaning it up. We also made the book, Footprints from the Past, Footprints from the Past, Footsteps to the Future, where we highlighted all the old photographs that we collected in the society, and we recreated these photos. So that's what we think.
And at only $5 a copy, it makes a great gift item for any of you.
There you go. A QVC promotion. A Bullitt County promotion, Washington promotion. Well, we are very honored to have you all do what you do. Keep up the great work. You're going to be excellent older young people soon. And you will be just taking our community and leading it. And we're very grateful for that. I have certificates for each one of you, and these say Certificate of Recognition for your accomplishments with Mount Washington Youth Chamber Preservationist. We honor Abby Shelton on behalf of a proud Bullitt County. Please accept our congratulations and best wishes for the future. Congratulations. And let's honor Isaac Shelton for your, let me read this one. You stay right here. You just stay right here. Certificate of Recognition for your accomplishments, Isaac Shelton, with the Mount Washington Youth Chamber Preservationist. We honor Isaac Shelton. On behalf of a proud Bullitt County, please accept our congratulations and best wishes for the future. When I was your teacher, I had to wear these glasses. Shelby Clark. Did I do it right? Miss Shelby Crum. Thank you for what you're doing. It's so great of you. This is a certificate of recognition for your accomplishments with Mount Washington Youth Chamber Preservationist. We honor Shelby Crum. Oh, sorry, Shelby Crum. On behalf of a proud Bullitt County, please accept our congratulations and best wishes for the future. Miss Crum. There you go. And this is Miss Haley Steinmetz. Certificate of Recognition for your accomplishments with the Mount Washington Youth Chamber Preservationist. We honor you, Haley. On behalf of a proud Bullitt County, please accept our congratulations and best wishes for the future. There you go. Graduated already?
Annie is our graduate. She's off to Moorhead State doing good things for us there.
Good. And one of y'all can give this to Hannah, and we're proud that she's off to college. And this says Certificate of Recognition for your accomplishments with the Mount Washington Youth Chamber Preservationist. We honor Hannah Miles on behalf of a proud Bullitt County. Please accept our congratulations and best wishes for the future. Let's give Hannah a round of applause. I'm going to give you the last words.
I'll say something on there. This is the third year of this group. Shelby and Abby are joining us for their third year. They're seniors this year. New to the group this year is Haley and Isaac. And the whole county is well aware of the accomplishments of these young people in the last 2 years. just been remarkable, the things that they've done in preserving and sharing our community's heritage. What they've got going on this year is going to blow you away. I'm not going to say what it is, but the initiatives that they've got going this year, co-sponsored by the City of Mount Washington Historical Society, along with my co-coordinator, Bonnie Darnell, and Carolyn Saunders, who couldn't be with us tonight. They've got a couple of really impressive initiatives that are going to serve our community in a very important way for generations to come that we're really excited about, and they're going at it. And we're really proud of all of them. Thank you.
I want to share a story real quick. Charlie, you come up. Anybody coming up? I went to the Lloyd House Christmas,
Christmas open.
open house, yes. And Charlie and I were talking, how many of y'all went to the Lloyd House Christmas open house? Okay. Well, those of you who have been in Bullitt County for a long, long time, we had a bicentennial. Will you tell the people about that?
So this is back in 1974, and Melanie probably made a mistake of calling on it because I'm known to be wrong with it. Although the name's wrong, I'm wrong with it. I'll make this real short and sweet. For the first time, my knowledge, in 1974, when we got together and started planning this bicentennial celebration, it was the first time that I have seen in my lifetime. I'm 75 years old. Everybody, virtually everybody in Bullitt County joined together. Every community joined together. We planned this bicentennial. We had, I think, probably the best bicentennial in the state. It lasted for a full week. We had pageants, we had reenactments, we had closed Preston Street from 44 all the way down to 2nd Street every day, filled with celebrations of every kind, contests of every kind. And we even contacted a mint and had a coin design. Sold 100 of those coins with a limitation of one per family for $25 before the coins were made. And that gave us enough money to pay for the Green Duck Mint. We did on that and another 3,000 bronze coins. But it was just such a pleasure to see everybody virtually come together. Come together and all of us in costume. Everybody had a good time. We had a couple of people that were ironic that that happens when you have big celebrations. But it's the first time I saw people come together. And one couple, I don't even know who they were, rode in on you from Zoltan. They lived out there somewhere. Backwoods somewhere, got married. We built a log cabin over on that lot over there, and found the original wells for the salt wells, and got the water out of that, and boiled the water down and made salt. And everybody just had a great time, and it was just something that I'd love to see. And you know, I do have a request, I think, if everybody can, all members of this board, sheriff's department, members of this department, I would like for all of us to get together the best we can. I know we all have differences, we all have priorities, to work together. That's business cards printed, on the cards, now. I put Charles A. Long, CEO of BBBC. Everybody asked me, what kind of job do you have with this BBBC? And I said, well, I've got a big job. So I got my hands full. I said, well, what is BBBC? I said, it's a non-organization, but it stands for Build a Better Bullitt County. And I think that we have done so well in the county. Industries that we've attracted into this county, and Ms. Belcher are working with us on improving our road system. I think it's a wonderful place to live. I was born here. The card says American by birth and Southern by the grace of God. I'm still fighting the war. I doubt if I'm coming in better than my forefathers did. Some of them got killed. But I'm just really proud when I go anywhere. Anybody say, who are you anyway? Well, folks around home say that I'm about half crazy. And I think I am. I'm just Charlie Long. And I don't think that any of us have a title per se, other than to say, I am proud of this.
Well said. Thank you, Charlotte. Now, with more good news and good happenings with good people, I want to invite Andrea Renfro up here. She's the new executive director of our Bullitt County Health Department. She's a Bullitt County girl, speaking of Bullitt County. And she's the first female to lead the Bullitt County Health Department. And I want to invite all the nurses. If you're a nurse, would you come up here and join us in this celebration? It is my honor to recognize the Kentucky Board of Nursing's centennial year. And this proclamation says, whereas the Kentucky Board of Nursing is the executive branch agency empowered by the legislature to license registered nurses, license practical nurses, and advanced practice registered nurses in the interest of public protection. Easy for me to say. Yeah. Whereas the legislation establishing the Kentucky Board of Nursing was enacted by the 1914 Kentucky General Assembly, making 2014 the 100th anniversary of both the Kentucky Board of Nursing and nursing licensure in the Commonwealth. And whereas the year 2014 marks 100 years of protecting the public by the board on behalf of the citizens of the Commonwealth. And whereas nursing plays a vital and continuing role in the healthcare systems of Kentucky. Now, therefore, I, Melanie J. Roberts, Judge Executive of Bullitt County, Commonwealth of Kentucky, do hereby proclaim 2014 to be Kentucky Board of Nursing Centennial Year. And before we applaud, let's hear from those who really who are in this profession. I'm going to hand that over to you. And Andrew, there's something like please.
I thought it was a nice gesture of Judge Roberts to want to symbolize the
Centennial. The Kentucky Board of Nursing is our regulatory body, our licensing body for the profession. And although I think the leaders have done a fantastic job of moving the profession forward, it's been only until the late 1960s when legislation was passed that in order to provide nursing care, you actually had to have a license. So the Kentucky Board of Nursing, they protect others and they get to continue to do it all the time.
I'm Marcy Fleckler. I'm the nurse administrator for the County Health Department, so I work with Andrea at the Health Department. And I just want to say I'm happy to be here. I feel honored to be able to be a nurse within the Bullitt County itself, and have been in the area, lived in the area for over 30 years, so I'm very proud of Bullitt County as well. So thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
And I also appreciate that. This is a big surprise for me. I worked 41 years as a registered nurse in and around Louisville, and then 5 years in Ohio. And I really enjoyed my nursing, and I'm now retired.
I'm Marilyn Meredith. I'm Monica Roberts' mother, and I think she might have liked me today.
I didn't know.
It just dawned on me that she may have.
I think you should take credit for keeping Adrian.
Andrea helped me out a lot. I think this is kind of scary, but Board of Nursing's been licensed for 100 years, and I've been out of school for 47. Kind of looks scary, doesn't it? Almost hands long to say that. I spent my last 20 years teaching nursing for Jefferson County College System. I've really enjoyed it. I love nursing. I've been for 10 years, and I want a job.
And raise your hand if you would like to thank a nurse. Well, there you go. Don't really want some. Let's go ahead and fill out our chocolate work. We thank them for their service. When you're in the hospital, you want some good care. Or that's ours with you. Yes. Yes. say the good news keeps on coming. I'm so happy to have the Kentuckiana Works Board with us, and these are the Bullitt County appointees in which this fiscal court has appointed these folks. We want to talk to the fiscal court about a very exciting opportunity, and folks, it's about jobs, jobs, jobs. So I'm going to introduce Keith Rippey, who serves on the Kentuckiana Works Board, and he's going to begin talking to the fiscal court about this exciting opportunity.
We're just going to take a few minutes, not long, to do a presentation. We have our executive director from Kentuckiana Works here, and Michael's going to come up here in just a second, kind of get the nuts and bolts of it. Real quick though, if you haven't bought the book that those kids did from Mount Washington, go buy it. It's really good. It's a really cool thing to have. We've got it in the house. It's really good. That's just a side note. what we're here today is, as the judge said, Lou Ann Moore and Tom Kellett are both board members as well as I am on the Kentucky Works. Brenda Sharp is not here tonight. She's also a board member. We represent the county on the Kentucky Works Board. But we're here tonight to ask for your support for the Summer Works program. And again, Michael's going to come up and kind of tell you the technical parts of it. I'm here speaking first because PBI Bank, who I work for, actually took part in this program a couple of years ago, and we were able to employ a young man that was right out of high school, going into college, gave him summer work, and it didn't cost the bank anything. And this was a couple of years ago when nobody was hiring anybody, and it gave us the opportunity to actually put a young man from Bullitt County to work. It was good for the bank because we hopefully, when he graduates from college, will have a future employee. And he's learned a lot more because there's some other things, some other steps that you go through in this program. So that's just to kick it off, kind of give you an overview of what we're looking for. And again, we're asking for support from you guys so that we can continue to move this forward. So Michael?
I think Tom's going to do it. What do you next? Me?
This is Michael Britton. Like he said, he's the executive director of the Kentucky Works Board, and he's going to give us some more details on this exciting program.
Sure, I'm honored to be here. Thank you, Madam Judge and Magistrates. It's a pleasure. I've been here, but it's been a while, so thanks for having me back. I'm the executive director of Kentucky Works. I just want to make sure everybody knows, first of all, what that is. It's something called a Workforce Investment Board. We've got 33 members. The majority are appointed by the mayor, but many are appointed by the regional counties, and I've got 3 of those board members with me tonight. So when you drive up 1 exit and 116, where the big community college is, there's something called a Kentucky Career Center. We fund positions in that Kentucky Career Center to help anybody in this room and anybody that you know who needs help looking for work, putting together a resume, applying for jobs, learning about labor market information, what jobs are growing. All that's made available at that Career Center, right? Right around the corner from it, there's a Youth Career Center that focuses on young people in Bullitt, and that is run for us by Goodwill. Jennifer is sitting over next to Tom, right? Goodwill is a great partner for us. That program costs us about $350,000 or $400,000 of federal money each year, but it targets kids that have dropped out of high school, 16 to 21-year-olds in the county. And over the last few years, we've helped a significant number of Bullitt County kids get back on the right track, earn their GED, get a job, and then move on into training or college afterward. Right? There's a program there called The Power of Work, which Goodwill runs for us, which is helping people that are on welfare get off of welfare and into real jobs. Right? You can hear the theme over and over again. This is all about jobs, 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 as the judge said. Right? What we want to describe to you today is at that Youth Career Center, because the program is funded completely by federal money, the big opportunity is for us to help more Bullitt County young people get into summer jobs than we're able to do with federal money alone. Because the program is funded by federal money, the only kids that we can work with have to be enrolled in the federal program. But what we want to do is try to make the summer job program much bigger than that. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of private sector jobs that are available at employers in Bullitt County, right? Mostly for kids that are 18 to 21. What we want to try to do is learn from the program that Mayor Fisher started in Louisville. What we've learned is we've created a curriculum that gives kids workforce readiness training. Part of what you all hear from your employers is these kids don't know how to shake my hand, they don't know how to look me in the eye, they don't know how to tell me why they want to work here. We have curriculum that tries to help kids do that. What we want to do with the money that we're proposing to spend would be to hire someone at Goodwill who would focus on summer youth employment all year long with Bullitt County. What you would be able to do is work with community-based organizations to try to use that curriculum to prepare kids. You would also be able to do it right at that Youth Career Center at Exit 116. So we could be helping kids get through that workforce readiness training. The next step is to have them do mock job interviews. So we would work with Luann and other members of the chamber to try to find volunteers to come in and put kids through mock job interviews. So by the time we send them to an employer like Zappos or Amazon, they are ready to go, know what they're supposed to do. It would make a great first impression. And then once we do that, there are hundreds of jobs for those kids 18 to 21 that we would try to coordinate, help those employers find the kids that they need, help those kids work. Some of the jobs start in the spring, some of them last beyond the summer, but we would use the summer as the focus of the program. Does that make sense? And then, am I forgetting anything, Keith? Does that make sense? I think that covers it, right?
That's what worked for us.
Okay, terrific. And then what's really nice, the power of this program, and the reason why it's so important is there's a lot of research that shows that kids that work end up staying in school at a higher rate, graduating at a higher rate, moving on to college at a higher rate. We start to help them connect what is it that I learned at PBI Bank with what I was learning in my classroom, right? And all of a sudden, the light bulb starts to go off about how those things connect up. And at the same time, what we think is we can help your employers find lots and lots of people who want to work. I do just want to say, Judge, there are fewer jobs for kids that are 16 and 17, that this coordinator would certainly work with the superintendent, who's doing a great job, and the school district to try to help those high school age kids get prepared for jobs. Some big private sector companies like Kentucky Kingdom do hire 16 and 17-year-olds, so we can certainly work to try to get some of those kids jobs there. But I do just want to be clear, that's still a problem. There are a lot more kids that want jobs at that age than there are jobs. But that's essentially what the program would do. Now I'll turn it over to Tom.
David, since graduating from high school in 1958, I've been continuously employed for over 55 years with 40-plus years experience managing in the manufacturing industry. I've long advocated for workforce preparedness, for workplace readiness in our schools, with an emphasis on careers and not academics just for academic sake. While supporting education at all levels, the definition of academic pertains to colleges and universities. In education, it's more about classical and literary rather than technical or vocational, theoretical versus practical. Make no mistake, some professions such as doctors, nurses, lawyers, teachers, and the like require advanced education and degrees. There are many often referred to as blue-collar jobs that may not. And so it has been my observation that we should identify at the earliest age possible in each of our students their aptitude, their natural ability, their gift, their talent, their skill, and then steer them in the appropriate direction toward a successful career in the workplace. The Bullitt County Summer Works Initiative provides employment opportunities for those aged 16 through 21. I believe this program would benefit those in manufacturing, banking, distribution, logistics, and the service industry, just to name a few. This workplace readiness curriculum helps prepare our young people by providing job interview and actual workplace experience. As a charter member of the Governor's Task Force on Skill Standards in both manufacturing and communications, I saw firsthand that skills identified as those most sought after by employers in the workplace were job interviewing, working in teams, critical thinking, problem solving, and most important, being at work every day and on time. The Bullitt County Summer Works Initiative fits right in by allowing students to experience the actual workplace environment and see firsthand what is required and expected of them. For these reasons, I encourage you to support our request for funding of the Summer Works Coordinator position. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
And I'll finish this. Rena Sharp couldn't be here this evening, so as the last one to represent this board, since being on this board, my middle name has become persistent. We have been pushing and pushing and pushing to get Bullitt County noticed more, and we want to participate more in the Summer Works program with the Kentucky Works Board. Funding, we're asking for $50,000 to fund this program to get it started within Bullitt County. Last year, there was just a few of us that got together, got probably, how many, Jennifer? 10 kids. 2 of them that we supplemented their income, private industry, one in elementary school, one in the elementary school, and one in Vernon. We can play with this and take years to get it to the point that we need, our students need this now. Whether it's 16 and 17, but more importantly, the older 18 to 21. So our request is for $50,000 to get this started, and if you have any questions, Michael Gritton is here to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Now, just we have a question we asked, this is a very important, we have our very important project, and we've got the folks right here to ask the questions too.
$50,000 get the program started, or will that help you get all the way through the summer months?
That would give us enough funding to be able to allow Goodwill to hire a full-time person who would focus on this, so we would be able to get it, if we get it soon enough, we'd be able to have somebody focused on it in April and May to be able to do some of that work for this summer, obviously. And then what we've learned in Louisville is, in order to do this well and at the volume that we want to try to do, it really takes somebody full-time trying to do it, because you start doing workforce readiness training in the fall and in the winter. You have job fairs in the early part. We just had a big job fair in Louisville in February. We would do something similar out here. We've already worked with some of the staffing firms that are helping Amazon and some of the other companies that are out there trying to fill literally hundreds of jobs. So that's where having somebody on the ground who is working to try to both connect those Bullitt County kids and prepare them, and then working with the employers, that $50,000 would allow us to do that year round. We would certainly be able to do it this year, which would be great.
So the sooner, the better on this?
Yes, sir. I mean, literally, some of these employers are staffing and hiring people right now. So that's where we're trying to add volume to the number of Bullitt County kids that we can try to help prepare in place. I should add one other thing, Judge, just as a detail, in case this is something people are wondering. In the city of Louisville, when Mayor Fisher took over, in his first budget, he put $100,000 in, right? In the second budget, he put $100,000 in, and in the third year, he doubled it to $200,000. So we now have a full-time coordinator in Louisville and people working on my staff full-time who are doing nothing but this kind of summer jobs preparation in Louisville. And really what we're trying to describe is the same analog in Bullitt County, so we would be able to have boots on the ground in Bullitt County doing that work full-time in Bullitt County all year long. It's certainly focused on the summer. It's a big, big opportunity.
So this would be good for us to put it in our budget coming up.
Yes, sir.
50,000 would fund the program for a year?
Yes, sir.
You said?
Yes, sir.
Just thinking to get the thing started, what would it take to open the office to get it started?
Well, so let me explain to you what we already have. What we have in Bullitt County is a youth career center, and Jennifer and Goodwill staff that. But what I was trying to explain in the beginning is because it's funded only by federal money, Jennifer has to decide essentially when a young person comes through the door, am I going to enroll that person in the federal program? And if she is, then she can serve them, but if she isn't, then she can't serve them because she doesn't have flexible money, right? And the federal program is designed for some kids and it has eligibility requirements, but a lot of kids don't meet that criteria, right? So what this funding would allow us to do would allow us to serve any kid that walked through the door, and instead of waiting for them to come to us, we'd be doing outreach through the schools and through community-based organizations and churches to try to find those young people and help prepare them. The tricky part about how much would it take to start it is if you're expecting us to hire somebody good to do it, and I say to them, I've got funding, but I've only got it for 60 days, I'm not likely to be able to get somebody as good as if I said, oh, we've got funding for a whole year because the fiscal court is interested in trying to do it for a whole year. So that's the main argument for trying to give us 50 as opposed to giving us 10 and funding it for 2 months. Because then we would have trouble hiring somebody. If you hire somebody as a temp, if they find something permanent, you would lose them. So that's the main argument for trying to make it a full-time person. And to be honest, that's the lesson that we've learned in Louisville. As we started trying to get to a big number of kids, you've got to have somebody full-time worrying about nothing but summer employment and preparing for this for it. Again, just as an example, at the Youth Opportunity Showcase in Louisville last week, we had about 750 young people walk through the door at that job fair, and that's a low number compared to what we normally see because of the snow. So I would expect us to be able to have hundreds of kids prepared every year by February, so that when they're starting to try to figure out where do I want to work, and companies like Zappos are looking for people, that we would be able to try to plug them into those jobs February, March, April, and May, all the way through the summer. And then what's exciting about that is it links you to your educational agenda, because again, those kids that are working end up, whether they're going to community college or going to college someplace else, they may be able to continue to work part-time while they're there, but we at least get them on that ladder of opportunity. And what we know is if we don't get on that ladder of opportunity, a lot of times they just don't make it. They don't know how to get there, or when they go, they don't make the right impression because they haven't been prepared.
we do, in fact, go with this $50,000, is this going to be funding young people in Bullitt County, basically for these jobs?
So let me clarify one more thing. Thank you for asking that question. When Keith was describing that there were kids that Kentucky and Works could pay the salaries for, that's because for 2 years we had federal money and stimulus to be able to help them go back to work when they were trying to help anybody go back to work. This $50,000 would not be paying the salaries of any kids. It would essentially be paying that full-time person. So our model is, at least in the beginning, trying to find as many real jobs that exist in the private economy to plug kids into. Now what that means is there are lots of jobs for kids 18 and up, but many of these employers hire 18 and up and not before. The opportunity for us as we have a full-time person would be then to go around and potentially get other people to contribute to this effort that would give us money to pay kids to work in the summer, right? So we could say to Mark Lawrence at Burnham, if you'll take one, we'll give you another because we would have some money to sponsor that kid. I would be happy to work with you all to try to do that fundraising as well, whether it's trying to get mayors or whether it's trying to get companies to contribute. Essentially, it costs about $2,000 for a kid to work during the summer. If they work 7 weeks at minimum wage, 30 hours a week, that ends up costing you about $1,600 by the time you pay taxes and pay an employment firm to deal with the insurance. You're talking about $2,000 a kid. So just as you think about who else could we get to join this movement, and what's really been fun about working with Luann and with Keith and Tom is they envision this as a Bullitt County movement. We want to get our kids connected to these kinds of jobs.
That's how a lot of this came up. And Lou's saying that she's persistent. We had a meeting with Michael, just us, to say, we got to get more for Bullitt County. Because, to be honest with you, we were seeing a lot of things. Mayor Fisher and Michael was point blank, said, well, Mayor Fisher is funding. He got it in the budget in Louisville, and it's for Louisville. So from that's when we came up and said, okay, then if we want it for Bullitt County, then we need to fund it. He's not going to give us anything because we're not Louisville. That's fine, we understand that. But this is, we want it for Bullitt County.
It's exclusive to Bullitt County.
So we want to make it ours.
Does the person that works, I'm assuming you're a worker, do they go to the schools and perhaps check with the Board of Education to see what young people have quit school for some reason that they don't have the money to be able to go, or and they never graduated because they didn't have the money to be able to go to school and all this? Did you not say that this works?
So the program that Jennifer runs for us at Goodwill now targets kids that have dropped out of high school who are 16 to 20.
And they will be given the opportunity to get their GED?
So that's a program we already fund. I think the budget is about $350,000 of federal money that comes into Bullitt County to fund that program that Goodwill runs for us, right? So that's an example, and really this position would be housed at that same program, but would be focused on a broader set of kids and would be focused on summer employment, right?
Two things I think that we also need to add is, number one, we've already got the space. That's covered.
Right.
These kids are counseled through the summer. They don't just give them a job and put them out there and say, good luck. They're counseled through the entire summer to teach them soft skills, to teach them the things that we keep hearing over and over and over. On every committee I'm on, it's soft skills that these kids need. So I think that is the important piece of this.
Yeah, when we had an employee, they would work 4 days, I think it was 4 days, 20 hours a day. And then the 5th day, they actually went and did, it was like a classroom study, they had the counseling, they did that. But that was part of the agreement, is that 1 day a week, they weren't in the office working, they were going through this other training. And a lot of it is as simple as how do you shake hands, what do you wear to an interview. I mean, it's things that a lot of us that grew up, we just think you just automatically know, and people don't.
I'd like to make one more remark on this particular task force that I was on, that started manufacturing. Every one of the committees that came up, whether it was restaurant, banking, agriculture, they all ended up identifying the same soft skills that I talked about earlier. So we can teach people when they come into work for us how to run the equipment and everything. But the soft skills is what they really need. Some people call them soft skills or human skills, but that's what everybody wants.
I'm all for doing this during the spring and summer, you see a lot of young people just roaming the streets late in the afternoon, night, way up in the, I think that they were brought to this and were learning and were able to do a job, get a job. I think that might take a lot of them off of the street and keep them out of the problem.
Well, it's called opportunity for these kids. And I think that that's, you know, Jefferson County has grown this program over the last 3 years, and it's time that we take the same opportunity. We've got Kentuckiana Works to lead us in the direction that we need to go. And
Well, and the hope is that years from now, they've learned this, and then, again, like I said, the employee that we have, hopefully he graduates from college, and there's a position for him, and if he comes back to Bullitt County and has a high-paying job, and he's paying his taxes, and he's buying a house here, and he's raising a family, this is seed money.
How much success has Jefferson County had?
We've had so much success that at the U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting in January, Mayor Fiscal won first place in their Summer Youth Jobs Challenge. So we went from 200 kids in 2011 to 400 kids in 2012 to 1,800 kids last year. Now that 1,800 is not, we only paid the wages of about 100 of those kids. The other 1,700 were working in private sector companies. So again, it skews toward 18 and up. But there were lots of opportunities at the same kind of warehouse distribution facilities that, you know, that are prevalent out here. And again, part of Mayor Fisher's vision has been, if I can get a kid to start at a place like Zappos and really learn work ethic and all that sort of stuff, maybe the next year I can get them to work at PBI Bank or at Publishers Printing or at, you know, at Century 21, and all of a sudden I'm moving them up into more professional jobs. Or whether they stay at Zappos or they move into one of these other kinds of things, you're starting to create a pipeline for your young people. You're keeping them home, you're exposing them to companies, you're solving the workforce issues of the companies. Now they're learning something working in an environment, working for a person like Keith or Tom that they can't learn at home or wandering the streets. Right? It creates a pretty virtuous circle of people earning and doing for themselves and seeing opportunity and taking advantage of it. So it's a pretty easy thing to be enthusiastic about, whether it's the looks on the faces of the kids that we see who get exposed to these kinds of companies, or just the idea that they're making money and really learning something. It's a huge, huge deal. Just one other thing I should mention, in Louisville, we are trying to focus, at least in part, on making sure that low-income kids or kids that are overcoming barriers get this kind of training so that they can compete for jobs. We would take the same focus in Bullitt County. So that means we would serve everybody, but we do not want to turn kids away just because they may not know or the family may not have as much as some other families. This is an idea where we know what the bar is, and the bar is private sector employers saying that's a kid I want to hire. Right? Our job is to get the kid up to that bar, not to ask an employer to lower it. Right? And the only way to do that is to prepare kids and to show them, here's what you look, we have slideshows, here's what kids come in looking like who aren't going to get the job, here's what they come in looking like when they do, right? And you can teach kids a lot in a few hours and then do a little role play, and then you put them through a mock job interview, you'd be amazed how much better impression they will make on an employer.
Thank you.
At this point, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to make a motion that we fund this $50,000 from our funds here, and I hope I get a second, and we'll go from there.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? And we will have a contract or an agreement drawn up and be able to present at the next meeting.
When are we going to, do you want to tell Ms. Sharpman that I think it's the
I'm sure it's upon your contract approval with the county.
Upon the approval of the contract?
Yeah.
Her approval with it.
Is that okay?
Absolutely, and I'm sure that there's some type of an agreement that you have with Jefferson County and the mayor, something that.
I'm sure we can grab something.
Okay. Well, at the next meeting, we'll have a contract and we'll let the county attorney look at it before we bring it to fiscal court. And then we'll proceed. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, any other questions or discussion on this motion? Ms. Randy, will call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?